Hey everybody, it's Mike Johnson from PWInsider.com, and we're here with former WWE and ECW star Little Guido, aka James Maritato. Your longtime partner Tony Mamaluke just retired. I wanted to get your thoughts on Tony leaving the business.
He finally abandoned me. He took a million bumps in his career.
He went the way of JT Smith.
He went away. He went with JT. They all seem to leave me after a while. But, you know, as usual, I always seem to find more partners. So as one goes, the door opens for another one. So I'm taking open tryouts for any full-blood Italian members at this stage of the game. Can't guarantee you any major contracts, but I can get you in the business.
Now, you've obviously teamed with a lot of different guys. Was there one guy you felt you meshed with the best in terms of a partner? Was it Tony?
You know what? With all the different partners I had, I think it was more, different aspects, and the different partners I had was a different stage of my career as far as comedy went and stuff like that. So Tony was definitely one of my best partners, but I really enjoyed Tracy and Tommy Rich too back in the 90s, and that's where I really learned that old school style and that southern style, and those guys taught me a lot. And then as time went on, obviously I went with Tony Mamaluke, and we kind of did all the high-flying bumps and crazy things without any rhyme or reason. The totally opposite of what Tracy and Tom taught me about, doing psychology in the business and stuff like that. So I don't say I have any favorite partners, but I enjoyed all my partners, from JT Smith to Davey Paisano, who was actually Kid Cash, afterwards to Big Sal Graziano, Salvatore Bellomo, who was the Godfather back in the day. Then we had Mabel in there, Big Sal Graziano.
Ulf Herman.
And then Ulf Herman.
Ulf Herman. A rare reference for you.
Yeah, there we go. We forgot about Ulf. We had Ulf in there too.
Yeah.
And then Big Daddy V, Mabel, like I said, and it was great. But we'll see. We're taking new members in. So
there you go. Open call.
Open call. So.
Now I know, obviously you're still wrestling on a regular basis, but you kind of moved on to a new chapter in your life. You're working as a court officer now.
Yep.
How often do you get recognized when you're working out in the courtroom?
It's actually funny, It's the more that you're there is actually when people really start to recognize you. Where some other people, it takes a little bit for people to look at you a few times, but a good amount of time. But it's nothing crazy. It's nothing crazy, but. It's a good job to have. I just don't like when the people that are coming to court recognize you, because that does happen.
You don't need any criminals.
It puts you in a weird position. But it's a stage of my life right now, and I'm very lucky. I always end up landing on your feet. It's a good job to have, and I really enjoy myself. And I enjoy doing the shows on the weekend. And obviously we're taping this right in the back of Extreme Rising right now, getting ready for my match with Papa Don, who's been calling me out as of late. From what I've heard, I've been busy watching people go to jail, but on the same token, I always take care of my homework. So I hope he's ready, because he's going to have his hands full tonight.
Right. Have you had any crazy court stories yet, or have you been allowed to talk about those publicly? I
don't even know if I'm allowed to talk with him, so I'm not going to say anything, but I'll keep that in mind next time we talk. And when I go back and I speak to the judges and see what I can and can't say, so and then maybe I'll have something for you. So we're going to save that for another chapter. Right.
Now you had a lot of trips to Japan in your career. You obviously toured with WWE. You also worked a lot with UWFi and learned under Billy Robinson and Lou Thez and guys like that. Do you have any specific memories of Japan that are your favorite?
Well, my memories of Japan when I first started going was obviously a totally different thing, because that was when I went with Billy Robinson and UWFi, and that was the shoot style. My first time flying to Japan, I actually thought I was going to be in a shoot style match, which wasn't the case, but at that time the business was very protective, and UWFI was very protective of their business, and their matches were a work, but 95% shoot. So when I was going over for them, it was it was just different, because, real nervous compared to when you go over to WWE, you're still nervous, but you're also working and going with storylines and stuff like that. So, those two companies were two totally different experiences. But, I love Japan, and I think I've said this in a million interviews. Japan is my favorite country. I've wrestled all over the world, and from England, Ireland, Finland, Africa, Italy. Japan is my favorite country. And, I have a lot of great stories from me and Billy Robinson hanging out, drinking a few beers, who he definitely loves to do, but not really stories I think I can get into right now.
Let me ask you this. What is the strangest place you've ever wrestled in? Strangest venue?
The strangest venue I'm going to say was when I wrestled for Tommy D, and we did it inside a jail. It was for Tommy D, and I was wrestling with Damian Stone, me, Kodiak.
Precious Damian Stone.
Precious Damian Stone. That was before Little Guido. When I first started working for ECW, I was Precious Damian Stone, and Paulie changed it into Little Guido. But going back to what you just asked me, was Tommy D ran a show for the inmates in a jail in Pennsylvania, and me, Gino Caruso, and Cody Bear were booked on the show. And when we got there, we weren't allowed to bring any of our shampoos or combs. The only thing we could bring in through security was our boots, our trunks. And they told us when we got there, do not yell at them, do not call them faggots or anything crazy, you know. And they were whistling at us when we came out there and shit. So it was just a real weird experience. But they also told us when we went out there, said don't piss these people off that much because there's like 1,000 inmates and there's only about 22 guards. So they let us know not to rally the troops so hard. That was my weirdest place, I guess I would have to say.
I gotta ask, did the feathered boa get through security?
I didn't bring the feather boa. I didn't bring that in. They were definitely whistling at me. He was bringing up my ego a little bit.
I was actually thinking it might have been like the Lower East Side Wrestling Gym.
Pete McKay, right?
Pete McKay's school, IPWA.
Yeah, yes. I remember Pete. God bless Pete.
Gotta love a wrestling school in the basement of a housing project.
Yeah, well, I had one of my first few matches there, and me, Gino, and Kodiak Bay used to wrestle there, and we used to eat the chicken and rice. That was our pay.
That was the pay, yeah.
That was Pete McKay's thing. We only were out to bounce off 3/4 of the ring.
Because the fourth side was a wall.
It was a wall.
Just like the one behind you.
Right, exactly.
Looks just like the one behind you.
And then just put a rope here.
Yeah, it had a rope.
I came a long way. I went all the way from there to Madison Square Garden to right here, the Philadelphia Armory.
There you go.
This is the business.
Well, Guido, I want to thank you for your time, and I hope we get you on here again. And if you got any messages for all your fans, go for it.
Just keep supporting me. I'll always stick in the business a little bit, but I have moved on from the business, and but you never know. I can come back full time. I still got it. We'll see.
All right.